Don't mind the bathtub. My son is getting a bath right now. My wife is talking if you hear in the background. Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're going to be talking about running backs, the most essential, important piece to fantasy football. And I'm going to tell you my top 10. A couple sneaky people and a couple people to avoid. But these are my top 10 quarterbacks that you must have this year. My drafts are a little bit different. These are my top 10 running backs who I think you should get. Coming in at number 1, Christian McCaffrey. He's going to have a huge year. I even heard reports saying that he might even get the ball more than last year. Last year, he finished second in fantasy football points with 1,000 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns. Not only that, but he also caught the ball live for almost 1,000 yards. I predict him to have 1,200 rushing, 1,000 yards catching, double-digit touchdowns for rushing, maybe 5 for receiving. Monster year for him. I'll take him over Sacrum Barkley, Alvin Camaro, Todd Gurley any day. Ezekiel Elliott too. I expect him to be my number 1. Number 2, hang on to your seatbelt, folks, because this is not what you guys are expecting me to say. Number 2 is James Conner. Hear me out. James Conner finished top 6 and also won me my fantasy football league. Not only that, but he proved that he could handle a workload with the Steelers since Le'Veon Bell decided I'm gonna sit out until I got paid, and he didn't really get paid much anyway. He could have gotten paid more with the Steelers, from what I hear. But I expect him to be number 2 in points in fantasy football. Reason being, he has a great offensive line. Also has the second easiest schedule for fantasy football. Those are important things to recognize when you're drafting. Strength of schedule and offensive line. And he fits all my buttons. He checks all my check marks. And he's my number 2. Number 3, Sacrum Barkley. I mean, come on, y'all. Who else is going to be there for the Giants, man? Last year, he finished number 1 with 1,300 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, 91 receptions. Dude was a beast, and I drafted him too. Ooh, flashbacks. I picked him number 3 because I'm still kind of like, this is the Giants, bro. They don't have Odell anymore, and I feel like they're going to contain Barkley. That's my only concern. And number 4, Alvin Camaro. The dude is a touchdown machine. I'm not afraid of the other guy. What's his name? Latavius Murray coming in and stealing reps. I think he actually breaks 1,000 this year with double-digit touchdowns. And number 5 might be a little shocker to you guys. Big shocker. It's Camaro's ex-partner, Mark Ingram. Look, man, even though they shared the rock, Mark Ingram still got it done, okay? Dude finished with 600 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, 21 receptions, and 1 touchdown, 170 yards receiving. The dude still got it done now that he's with Baltimore. And what do you think they're going to do? They're going to run the ball, man. They're going to run the ball. I expect them to have 1,000 yards rushing, double-digit touchdowns. They brought in Mark Ingram to run the ball, man, and that's what they're going to do. A run-heavy offense. And number 6, his name is David Montgomery, a rookie. This dude could run the ball, could catch the ball. He could do everything. He's bigger than Tariq Cohen. He's everything Jordan Howard is not. I am going to miss Jordan Howard. He had 2 great years. The Bears have a great offensive line. I do see them passing the ball. I was really disappointed the Bears didn't get Kareem Hunt this offseason, but what can you do, right? And number 7, we have another rookie, Josh Jacobs. I mean, the dude has the 14th easiest schedule. You don't draft a running back without using him, right? I see him finishing top 10 this year. He's definitely a must-have in fantasy. And number 8, Leonard Fournette. 18th easiest schedule for running backs for fantasy. The only concern with him is his health. If he plays at least 14 games, he's going to finish top 10. The dude rushes the ball a lot. He didn't play much last season, but he did finish with 5 touchdowns and 400 yards rushing. I expect him to double that this year if he stays healthy and plays at least 14 games, man. And number 9, we have Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was a beast last year. 17 touchdowns, man. 17 rushing touchdowns. The dude was a beast on the field, man. He did not play towards the end because his knees hurt. It's arthritis, dude. I have it on my back. And it is painful, I do admit it. I do see the Rams not feeding him the ball a lot more. Maybe from 17 touchdowns, they're going to probably take away 6 of those and 100 yards rushing. He's not going to have 17 rushing touchdowns again. That's just not going to happen. But he's still a top 10 quarterback this year for fantasy for me. And finally, last but not least, I have Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook did all right last season. 600 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't play much. But I do predict him to be top 10 if healthy. Offensive line is almost as good as the Chiefs, if that says anything. The Vikings running back for fantasy has the 5th easiest schedule. I do predict him to get fed the ball a lot. And that's it for my running backs, man. What could I say is different from everybody else's? And these are my top 10 that I'll be drafting. I hope I get them all. Not all, but at least 2 of them. 2 to 3 running backs you want to get for fantasy football. Now I'm going to tell you guys who to avoid. Kenyan Drake, number 1. Terrible. Terrible offense. Terrible team. Don't draft them. Number 2. Melvin Gordon. Like I said earlier, if players don't want to play because they want to get paid, they're not worth for fantasy. Number 3. The same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. They don't want to play, not worth fantasy. For running backs, you want a workhorse running back. And all these people that I just named, my top 10, they're workhorses. Dalvin Cook, Todd Gurley, Fournette, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Mark Ingram, Camaro, Saquon, James Conner. It's a one-man show there. Almost every single one of them. And that's what you want in fantasy football. All right, guys, that's it for today. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and tune in tomorrow for wide receivers. A lot of talking, man. A lot of talking.